Hello, welcome to my channel, Crafty Fox DIYs. So I've put together a video full of inspiration to help you get a jump start on your fall crafting and decorating. Okay, let's get into it.
What I have here is a leg that I've cut from an old pair of pants. You can see that it's tapered, larger at one end and smaller at the other. Depending on where I cut it will determine the size of my pumpkin. The closer to the smaller end I cut it, the smaller the pumpkin and larger pumpkins from this end. I'm going to go about halfway. This will give me one larger pumpkin and one smaller pumpkin. Using pant legs or sleeves is really convenient because you have a circle. If you're using a piece of square material like this, you would need to sew up the side first to do this. The next step then, we're going to take a needle and matching thread, or you could use a different color thread. You could use yarn. It's your choice. And we're just going to go in and out like this all the way around. Once you've gone all the way around, you pull it tight, gathering the material together, and then tie it off. If you have a hole, like I do here, just sew it up. Now when we do the other side, which is going to be the top of the pumpkin, we're going to leave the hole so that we can put our pumpkin stem in. If you're making a topiary, like I did with some of mine, you may want to go ahead and sew up the top hole on the pumpkins that are not going to be on top because they're not going to get a stem. Now before we sew up the other side, I'm going to put stuffing in. Just going to do this the same way you did the bottom, all the way around. Now remember, when you get to the top, you're going to leave a hole so that way you can put your stem in. Okay, now that I've got it all sewed up and tied off, I'm going to glue on my stem. This is just a wood peg that I have from something. Most of my other pumpkins have pieces of branches that I cut from my yard in them. I'm going to put some hot glue in there and push the material into the stem. Okay, now that the stem is glued in, we're going to make the ribs of our pumpkin. I'm just going to go here at the bottom. Then I'm going to come up here to the top. And I'm just going to pull the thread tight so that it makes the indent, like that. And then go back around to the bottom. Pull it tight and make an indent like that. I'm just going to move over some and repeat the process. Once again, you could do this with the same color thread like I am, or you could use a different color thread or yarn. You could also use any color of material that you want to, whatever you choose. Now we just tie it off. Okay, now that our pumpkin's finished, let's go look at how I style them in my home. As you can see, I also made pink ones and some blue and white striped pumpkins, and I made these adorable scarecrows to go along with it. Because I still wanted some orange to go with my banner that I made last year, I put these ribbons around these jars that I'm using for vases, and then threw in some fall flowers just to tie it all together. I'm going to be making a pumpkin topiary. I took apart a topiary that was already made, and the previous owners kept the container that the topiary was in, so I'm going to make my own. What I'm using is going to be an empty ice cream bucket, hot chocolate canister, and a coffee can lid. Let's get into it. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is glue the hot chocolate canister to the coffee can lid. Just going to put a generous amount of hot glue all the way around the bottom. Now I'm going to glue the ice cream bucket onto the hot chocolate canister. I'm going to use a lot of hot glue. You could also use Z6000 if you wanted to. You could also put some weight into the hot chocolate canister, especially if you're going to be putting it outside. Now I'm going to mix up my paints while the glue is drying. Okay, now to get the textured stone look I was going for, I'm going to use these round sponge brushes. I'm just going to mix the colors up a little bit. A little bit of black and the gray. Just stomp it on there. And I'm going to do that all the way around the top part and the bottom. Okay, now that I've got my pot painted the way I want, I'm going to set it to the side and get started on the pumpkins. A really pale yellow on this. This one's going to stay orange, but it's going to be a brighter orange. And then this one's going to be a red orange. You can paint your pumpkins whatever color you would like, or if you have new pumpkins and you don't even need to paint them, that's even better. Now for the reddish one. I'm going to mix red and orange together. I'm going to add some more red to my second layer. This way. I'm going to glue the two pumpkins together. If I was putting this outside, then I would put the stakes that were in between the pumpkins back on, but I'm going to be using this indoors. Put the stem back on. This also came off of the original topiary and had a string of lights on it, but that string of lights, the battery pack or the plug-in was cut off of it. But I can still reuse this. These are some leaves that I got at the end of the season last year from Kroger. They were $2 and something for There was a lot of them. I've already used about half of these in other projects. I'm just going to use these in place of the other leaves that were originally on here because I think these are more realistic. They even sound crunchy, like real bone leaves. Now to help cover up the styrofoam that's going to show underneath the pumpkin here, I want to take some leaves and go around it a little bit. Okay, now, figure out how I'm going to put this on. There we go. Okay. This is great. I love it. Okay, so here we go. Let me know what you think. First wreath I'm working on is one that I started last year. This letter F came from Walmart, and I painted it to match the scarf on the little fox. I got this ribbon at Dollar Tree. Also, this other ribbon came from Dollar Tree. One ribbon is this with the orange polka dots on it, but I wanted it to also have the bluish green color. So I just mixed up some paint that matched the color that I painted this F also, and just used a round brush like this, and then daubed on the dots. I started on this before I started my YouTube channel. Also, these little boxes came from Dollar Tree, and as you can see, I gave one little bow that matches, so she's the girl, and then we have the boy box. To finish this wreath off, I thought it needed some flowers. And this year I was able to find some that I think will look good on this wreath. We have some mini sunflowers and, fittingly enough, foxtail. So we're going to add these onto this wreath. Some of these have 2 flowers on them, and some are just singles. I also like the leaves on these. I got these from Dollar Tree, and they're not that shiny, plasticky look, and they're nice. Check that out. This wreath looks so much better now with these beautiful fall flowers on it. Let me know what you think. Okay, for this one, I'm going to be using this witch that I got from the Dollar Tree. We're going to fix her up and make her face look a little better instead of just being all green. And I got one of the larger wire wreath forms. I had these that came from Picks from Walmart. They also had these purplish red leaves on there, but I'm not going to be using those. I'm just going to be using the pumpkins and these glittery branches along with these flowers. I'm not sure what kind these are. I just like the way they look, and I think they look spooky and Halloweeny, so we're going to use those. Also, I'm going to make a sign for my witch to hold that's going to say, "Welcome, my pretties." So we're going to work on the sign first. That way it can be dry while we're putting everything else together. Now this little sign has holes in it, and I'm going to leave them there because the witch has these little hooks where her hands would be, and so they will hold this sign perfectly. Now that I got my sign finished, I'm going to work on the witch. I'm just going to pull her hood back out of the way so that I can avoid getting any paint on it. Now I'm taking this burnt umber and a baby white, and I'm going to go all over her face with it. That's already looking better, but we're going to do a little more. I'm going to paint the inside of her mouth black. I'm using that same brush that has some black on it and doing it with some whites and brown, and I'm going to paint her teeth with that. I'll paint her eyes with the same color, but I'm also going to be adding some googly eyes in there. It looks kind of creepy like that though. She looks great. Bring the wreath form over here. And I'm going to put the sign onto her. As you can see, it has this wire here. And I'm going to put the sign through, put the wire through the sign. And I'm going to hold the sign up like this. Let's use it. And take this black spiderweb lace, just put it down here, tie it. gauzy, purple gauzy stuff here over top of the wire, so it's not showing, and you just think that her hands are there. I think first I'm going to start with these. I'm going to use these pumpkins, but I'm not going to use them whole. I'm going to cut them in half. I'm just going to go right behind the stem. Like that. Now I'm going to glue down the little sparkly branches. These little glittery spiders. You get 6 of them in a pack at Dollar Tree for $1.25. I'm going to glue that right to her sign. So what do you think? Now this is just a wood round. There are no holes in it, but I need some to hang it. So that's what I'm going to do now. And my idea for this is to make it look like a pumpkin. I'm just using pumpkin orange paint. And I'm going to get this burnt umber and I'm going to just kind of dry brush it. Just to kind of give the pumpkin some shape. Just going to go back over with some of the orange. Try to tone it down a little. I'm going to use the stencil. I'm not going to use the leaf parts. I'm just going to use the hello. Put that there in the center. I'm going to use my stencil brush and I'm going to use that burnt umber. You just dab up and down so that you don't get the paint under the stencil. Completely optional, but I love glitter myself. So I like to, before I pick the stencil up, I like to sprinkle the glitter on. This is gold glitter. It's kind of chunky. I really like it. Then, put the stencil up. I think it looks fabulous. I'll read here. I'm going to make just a simple kind of bow out of this ribbon that I got from Dollar Tree. I believe I got this last year, or may have gotten it at Family Dollar actually, at the end of the season. Yeah, that's where I got it. Push that down in the center there. Okay. Now I'm going to add these leaves. And these leaves. And right in the center, bright yellow sunflower. This piece of jute. Put it in the hole. Tie a little knot there, but I'm also going to put some glue right on the hole. And then when I pull it back through, it'll glue it down there. And there we have it. Simple, cute little pumpkin project. I'm making a lantern. I'm going to take some Mod Podge and put it onto a glass jar. Make sure that your jar is clean. You want to use something like Goo Gone to make sure that you get all of the sticky stuff off if there was any left behind from the label. Now I'm using these thin leaves from Dollar Tree. Thicker leaves are harder to get them to stick, but these leaves are really thin and they stick to the Mod Podge very well. You can put as many or as little leaves as you want onto your jar and make them overlap a little bit. Completely optional. This is how I want mine to look. I'm going to go with the Mod Podge in between the leaves a little bit and around the top. And I'm going to put gold glitter on it. Like I said, this is completely optional. I just love glitter and I don't mind having it all over the place. Now I'm going to make the handle for my lantern. To do that, I'm going to be using this ribbon and some jute twine. I'm going to measure out the ribbon to the size that I want and cut it off. Then I'm going to fold the ribbon just like so, over and over. With my jute rope. I put my little battery operated tea light in. I know it's hard to see right now. This is another one that I made that's just all glitter. And I think they're going to look great on the table for Thanksgiving.
Okay, that's all for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.